Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed on the memory management and the garbage collection topic, right? So garbage collector topic. So today we'll be discussing on the advanced exception handling topic, right? So let's get into the definition part first. So what does the definition say here? Advanced exception handling in Python. It includes custom exceptions, exception chaining, re-raising, and use of the else and finally blocks. So again, advanced exception handling in Python includes custom exceptions. Mainly it is used for the custom exceptions itself, right? Custom exceptions, exception chaining, re-raising, and use of the else and finally blocks, right? So these features allow precise control over how errors are caught and handled, right? So this we'll see in the example. Let's come to the or let's discuss about some of the points here, and then let's get into the example part. So here we can define our own exception classes using inheritance, right? So we can define our own exception classes using inheritance. So the second point here is the else block runs only if no exception occurs. So this is important. The else block runs only if no exception occurs. The finally block always executes, useful for cleanup. Basically the finally block always executes, so this is useful for the cleanup, right? So we can chain exceptions using raise keyword. So that's what they have given the definition part as well, right? So here somewhere re-raising this one, right? So here we can chain exceptions using raise from raise from this one, a triple dot and four dots. This one we can use try except else finally, try except else finally for comprehensive error handling. Again, what are the keywords that we'll be making use of basically, or we can make use of? So here we can just make use of try except else finally, right? So similarly in the JavaScript we can just go with a try catch finally, finally and finally and throw, right? So in the Python we can just go with a try except this one else finally. So in the Java as well, similar ones. So this is fine, right? So we can go with a try except else finally for the comprehensive error handling. So now let's get into the example part here. Let me go with a very simple example, man. So let's go with the custom exception class. So I'll just go with a class. mm, Let me name this one custom error. So this is fine. Let me go with hmm, let me pass exception here. So within this class, let me get into that initialization part. So I'll just go with init. This is fine. So self, and this one instead of the argument, so I'll just go with a message. So I'll just go with a message. This is fine. So there is no need of this one. I'll just go with the self dot the parameters that we have passed here is message, self dot message. Let me assign this one to message. So this is fine. So we are done with the class. Let's consider this one. Let's go with the function divide here. So I'll just go with divide, def divide. Let's go with the parameters a and b. This is fine. First let me go with the try. Let me go with the try. So we can just go with the try except else finally, right? So let's go with the try first. So try, let me give here if b equals 0. We are comparing here. If b equals 0, then let's go with the raise keyword here. Raise. So let me go with the custom error. Custom error. So let me give something within the strings. Cannot divide by 0. I'll just go with cannot divide by 0. Right? So cannot divide by 0. This is fine. This is fine. So yeah, this is nothing but the custom exception right here. So I'll just go with the result here. Let me go with a result. So this one will be a by b, a by b. So this is fine. So now let's do one thing. Let's go with the except, right? So this one will be except custom error as c. So I'll just go with the c, right? So this is fine, man. Now what shall we do? Let's print something just for the interactive purpose. So I'll just go with the print here. So I'll just go with caught custom mm, custom error. I'll just go with the custom error here. So let me pass c dot message, custom error dot message. So this is fine. So now again let me go with the same thing here, this one. So let me copy this one, man, instead of typing again. Let me make the necessary changes here. Let me paste it over here and make the necessary changes. So this one, except same thing, instead of the custom error I'll just go with the exception. So this one exception, instead of ce I'll just go with the e, right? So let's print something. So this one will be general error. So this one will be general error or general exception. Anything you can go with. So I'll just go with a general exception. So this one will be e, just e, right? So uh, let me delete this one. So this is fine. The next thing is, let me go with the else keyword here as discussed. So we have already made use of the try and except. So let's go with the else keyword here. Let me print. I'll just print here division result. So this is fine, division result. Let me pass result, man. Let me pass result. So this is fine. Finally, let me go with the finally keyword. So this is fine. Let me go with the print keyword. So this one is execution. Execution finished. Finished. So this is fine. Execution finished. So let me come out of this one entirely. So let's test this one with a valid and invalid input, right? So I'll just go with divide 10 comma 2. So this is fine. Again let me go with divide here 10 comma 0, right? So let me format this one once here so that this looks good. This is fine now. This is fine, right? Yeah, this is fine, man. Let's see why catching two general exception. This is fine, man. So here let me tell you certain things here. We are going with the first call here 10 by 2 in the line number 31. I'm speaking of line number 31. This runs successfully because else block runs here, right? So else block runs here, right? So here in this case division result we have to get, right? So if everything goes correct, so we have to get the division result, else block run here. So second call raises custom error here 10 by 0. We are dividing the value 10 by 0, right? So second call, this raises the custom error. So this is basically caught in the except. This is basically caught in the except, right? So finally runs both times showing guaranteed cleanup. Finally runs both times showing guaranteed cleanup. Let me run the code. I'll just go with Python. So this one, let me copy the file name here. Let me paste it .py. So here you can clearly see division result. So this one we are getting the output 5. 10 by 2 is nothing but 5. Execution finished. Execution finished. So this one finally it has to run, right? So finally runs regardless of the error, right? So it just runs finally block. So this is fine. Now we are dividing 10 by 0, which has to give us the error, right? So here custom error message what we have given, cannot divide by 0. So we are getting the custom error message, nothing but the cannot divide by 0, right? Again finally runs twice, right? So this finally block will run, right, regardless of the error, right? So again we are getting the execution finished. So this works absolutely correct, right? So whatever the output that we are getting is completely correct. Whatever the output that we are getting is completely correct. We are getting the desired output in short, right? So we are done with the advanced exception handling. Now we have the idea on try, except, else, finally, right? So we are done with the advanced exception handling, right? So let me summarize whatever we have learned so far, right? So we can define custom exceptions for more control and clarity. Always remember this, we can define custom exceptions for more control and clarity, and we can make use of the else keyword for code that should run only if no error occurs. So that's what we have done here as well, right? So if no error occurs, then we have to print this one, right? Division result is nothing but 5 we are getting 10 by 2. So we can make use of the else for code that should run only if no error occurs, and we can make use of the finally keyword for the resource cleanup, right? So that is the reason we are making use of here, right? So first one is done. For the second one, again we are getting the custom error. Again, execution finished for the second one. We are making use of finally keyword for the resource cleanup itself, right? So again, raise and chain exceptions using raise and from. If needed, we can make use of. So here in this case, it was not needed. Basically, it was not needed. So here we have made use of the raise, right? So basically, we can just make use of the raise and chain exceptions as well. So this is it for the advanced exception handling, right? So this is it for the advanced exception handling, right? Next we'll be discussing on the descriptors and memory optimizations topic. Next we'll be going with the descriptors and the memory optimizations topic. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.